Hi, it's Rob Bryanton, and this is the Imagining the 10th Dimension video blog. Here I am today as a floating head floating over top of my blog. And for those of you who haven't been to the blog, I'm talking about it in these video blogs all the time. This is what it looks like. And today we're talking about a blog entry called "The Fifth Dimension is a Dangerous Idea." And if you'd like to read along, please do go to 10thdimension.com/blog, because there are some links that are happening in the text as we're reading it here, which if you'd like to click on them, it'll enhance your experience. It goes like this. I'm pleased to tell you that the Urban Garden magazine has now published issue number 6, and inside, on page 70, you'll find an article entitled "Why the Fifth Dimension is a Dangerous Idea" by yours truly. This magazine is available free in the UK, in stores dedicated to indoor growing supplies and hydroponics. It's also available free online at www.urbangardenmagazine.com. And if you go there, you can read that article. We're not reading the article today. I should just make that clear. The article is definitely a little different in context of the magazine. It's taken a slightly different tone, and that's what I go on to say in this blog now. This article takes a lighter tone than most of my writing has so far, and I would like to thank editor Everest Fernandez for his valuable input in that regard. And to be clear, just because we're having a little more fun in this article doesn't mean I'm any less serious about this project as a valuable insight into visualizing the extra dimensions. Persons familiar with this project will recognize some of my favorite recurring themes in the article. While we're talking about big ideas, I also wanted to quote a comment I just discovered at a blog called A Smartass Education, which was one of the blogs in my interesting links collection you'll find at the Imagining the 10th Dimension blog. This blogger posted a link to my animation, and as usual, the comments were many and varied. Some people get what I'm trying to do here. Some people don't, and that's the way it is. But a comment from one visitor whose name is Google Eyes really summed up things nicely, and I'd like to end up with a full quote from that user's comments about my way of visualizing the dimensions. First, you have to realize that these 10 dimensions express a different perspective of space than our classical approach. The dimensions don't assume a block of space in which time occurs. Rather, it considers single directions in space and builds from one direction to others. This is actually a very genius approach if you think about it. A basic mistake of human thought is to assume things about reality. We assume there is this three-dimensional world around us when all that we experience is our own passage through time, which can be seen as a direction in space. The famous Richard Feynman recognized time as a direction in space. Bryanton's single spatial direction spans outward and becomes a larger space, but it doesn't become a full block of space until the last dimension. This is actually accurate of an expanding universe moving away from the Big Bang, expanding and moving increasingly nearer to becoming empty space. It is hard for people to get out of a classical perspective, especially when they think their perspective is science-based, but actually people rarely have a correct conception of, or for example, what Einstein's relativity tells us about space and time. Actually, this is true even among scientists. For example, Einstein and a few other scientists in his day recognized that the key conclusions one should draw from general relativity was that there is no real separation between past, present, and future. Very few physicists today appreciate this fact. This video, in other words, the Imagining the 10th Dimension video that Google Eyes is talking about, provides a timeless view of all times and all universes, and any such view should be taken very seriously. Thank you to all of the people linking to this project, to A Smartass Education for being one of those links, and to Google Eyes for your great comment. And thank you, Urban Garden Magazine, for giving my project the opportunity to reach a new audience of deep thinkers and big dreamers who like to think about the nature of reality with my article in that edition of the magazine, Why the Fifth Dimension is a Dangerous Idea. That's all for today from Rob Bryanton. Enjoy the journey.